Hello, this is Dan Wall-DeSousa, and I'm going to walk you through the Technology Uses and Perception Survey, otherwise known as the TUPS. As you know, this is a survey that your teachers participated in, but it provides essential information about the current teacher use and perceptions of technology. So these results can be used to collect baseline data, to inform technology to purchases, identify professional development needs, and also to facilitate coaching in the instructional technology area. So the TUPS looks at what teachers believe about the role of technology in the classroom, as well as their comfort and confidence with technology in general, with the pedagogy of technology and with a variety of different specific technologies. But it also asks about the frequency that they use those technologies themselves and also the frequency in which their students use those technologies. So we know the survey had about 200 questions on it, broken down into several categories. So the technology access and support, the preparation and perceptions of technology use, confidence and comfort using technology, technology integration, teacher-student use of technology, and technology skills and usefulness. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to walk you through real quick the template that you'll receive that has all of the information of your survey data, and hopefully you'll find that useful in preparing to write your proposal, as well as an integral woven part of your proposal is these data. The TUPS can be used as like a pre-TUPS and a post-TUPS if you want. But after we get that all collected, there's a myriad of reports that you can look at to see where you are at with the integration of technology on your campus. I'm going to walk right through here. And these are tabbed by the bottom. There's also a table of contents, and there's navigation bars at the top. I really like just using the tabs along the bottom, so you'll see me flipping back and forth between there today. First tab is select data. Don't touch anything in there, okay, because that's how we link the data to the spreadsheet. There's a table of contents, and these links are active. These links are the same ones that are across the bottom, so I'm kind of old school like that, and I like to use the tabs along the bottom, but if you prefer to use the hyperlinks there, you can go ahead and do so. The 0 tab is the report description. This is pretty basic as it gets. It has a report date, the responses when they were collected, the beginning and the end, and the number of respondents that you had for that survey. Under the background information, this is the demographic information that you'll have. This is the gender of the respondents, the ethnicity of the respondents, what level of education the respondents have, the years of teaching experience, some good data there, the subjects that they teach, as well as the grades they teach, the number of students per class, and then the years of using in technology for instruction. And you get the average, the min, the max, the medium, and mode, etc. The first tab is access and support. This has to do with the access to devices. They're supported on your campus. And so that's the first set there. Any one of these fields here, you can double click inside, and when you do, it'll populate the individual respondents. I'll do that for this one, but I will get down later today. So this is just basically the how well is technology supported, and do you really have access to it in order to use it? Well, hopefully, if you get the DCP, you're going to have plenty of access to technology, and then the Office of Educational Technology and the technology integrators are going to be here to support that for you. So, but in order to get there, we got to analyze some data. So that was access and support. Preparation. So this tab here looks into how the teacher feels where they acquired their preparation to utilize technology, as well as to teach technology, and their level of comfort with having students use technology, etc. So in this case, to a small extent here, the folks thought that their undergraduate coursework prepared them for the use of technology. Here, in-service was a big component in this faculty, so to a moderate extent, to a great extent. Independent learning also, so this faculty here, in-service and workshops, as well as independent learning. Distance learning courses, not so much, 51% in this faculty. You can kind of see where these data are. So professional development, so to what extent do you think professional development would be beneficial to you? Also, in the introductory tech skills on this campus, there's a good 69% here that don't think it's helpful at all, or to a small extent on the introductory skills. However, when you look at specialized training on the pedagogy of technology integration, we start to move into those higher categories of to a moderate or to a great extent. Remember, if you want to know these folks here entirely, like this is some, all right, the people that don't need the introductory skills here and the people that want their PD to entirely be constructed of introductory skills. I would probably match those up in some teaming so we could get the support. My best friend in the classroom was always my neighbor. When I had a question, thank goodness, when I was growing up in my teaching experience, there was always someone there for me. So anytime we get those pairings, it's nice. But if you wanted to identify that, you could double click on that list of respondents, and these are the ones that they believe that uh, they don't want to see introductory technology skills in their PD. I'm going to jump back here. Remember, you can use the table of contents, but I'm old school when it comes to spreadsheets, so I like the bottom here, and that's fine. So let's look at perceptions. So this is the perceptions of technology use. So look at this faculty here. It's 55, 88% either agree or strongly agree that they would like every student in the class to have access to a digital device. And there are very few strongly disagree with that. So there's great data here when you're writing your plans and you want to utilize that. So look, even here, so technology should be used in all courses. So we have 70% here of the faculty agree or strongly agree that technology should be used in all courses. That's great data for your DCP. The next tab is comfort. Comfort is the comfort and confidence with technology. So you can look through the questions here that were on the survey. Again, you can double click on any one of these and it'll produce the list of respondents if you're looking to identify folks who you want to participate in the implementation of the DCP. So I have adequate training and technology use, majority 71% here between agree and strongly disagree. Agree and strongly agree, and with none strongly disagree. That's phenomenal. But you can see how these data might be helpful as you're preparing. So here's integration, tab 5, technology integration. This is where you see where the technology is actually being used in the classroom. For this particular school here, once per month or less, technology is used, and when it's used in small group instruction, once per month or less. So where's most of the technology being used? So this is multiple times per day. So we're just going to hear, in instructional delivery, right? As a communication tool. Well, let's say the magic is over here, maybe not in the research part, definitely not as a reward, and this faculty didn't think that either, but extension activities possibly, but we're really looking for that authentic, student-driven, student-created product. And so looking at how your faculty integrates technology on campus can help you write your plan. Next is use. So this is the teacher use of technology, and no surprise that multiple times per day, well, over 50% of this faculty uses a word processor. Hey, I've cooked up a worksheet, and I used Microsoft Word, got in there, wrote my quizzes, etc. So, and that's the realm here that a majority are limiting spreadsheets. Not so much, kind of mixed bag across the board, although I'm using a spreadsheet right now, and they are fantastic, and they provide great educational opportunities if done well. So not at all here for the type indicated. So photo editing, sound editing, video editing, authoring tools, animations. You could write a worksheet about a topic for these folks over here, or you can learn how to do simulations and animations, and you can bring those topics alive for your students. So this really helps you along here. So email, this is the teacher, web browser, 93, 88% on that, but very little in the way of Web 2.0 tools like Google Docs. So 29% of the faculty are using Google Docs, not at all. And that's like I said, where the magic can happen, both for the teacher and the student. So we look here at how often do your students use those. I'm interested here. So Google Docs, let's go back and look at that same one. Well, the teachers aren't using Google Docs. If the teachers aren't using Google Docs, there's a good chance that the students aren't either. And there you go. You see the same pattern in these data. So maybe we want to pair, or there's 7% of the teachers that are using it multiple times per day. So maybe I want to invite some of these people to be participant in the DCP implementation process, but I want to fold in these folks over here that aren't. The kids that work with this teacher are just as important as the ones that do with that. Remember, if you want to identify anyone on the list, just double click it and it will produce a list of respondents. So frequency of adoption, this one's interesting. So this is the number of technologies taken up. So this is the amount of technologies you use in a day, laptop, computer, projector, etc. So let's take a number here like this spreadsheets. So 53% of the respondents who use 9 to 12 technologies in their arsenal, kind of in their toolbox, use spreadsheets. And if we look probably down here with some reporting, find where that is. I bet you those are high. I'm just going to take a guess. But web browser high across the board. So even those learning management system, here's one. So even folks that only use 5 to 8 technologies in their toolbox, 100% of them use learning management system, and that makes sense. So that's kind of what these data are and how you might use them. And let's speed up here because I'm running out of time on my screencast. So info grouped by technology, this is just providing that 1 to 6 scale. So perceived usefulness, these teachers, the mean 5.3, and that was on 1 to 6 scale, perceived the usefulness of Microsoft Word. You can go down to database, breaks my heart, only 2.7 the mean for the usefulness of databases like Access and Excel, etc. To desktop publishing. And so you can see how you might be able to use these data. So photo editing, very low. That's great things to do with students, video editing, etc. All right, moving on to the composite scores. So these are frequencies that are weighted. So when you're looking at this is a great kind of parse data for you. But if we look at animation, how you would read this is for teacher use and student use. All right, so this is weighted, so the frequency. So about two times a month, the teachers are using, on average, animations, but the students 5, right? So video editing, here the teacher not so much, but 10 times a month, those students are. So that's all good data right here. 39, whoa, okay, desktop computer. Well, that makes sense that 39 times in a month that the teacher's using a desktop computer. So that's how we look at those data. I'm going to move on. Here's the same data from the screen before. It's just put in a graphic way, and then it's ranked. So laptop, computer, and web browser use and email were the top 3. Or I'd love to see down here in web publishing, video conferencing, sound editing, animations. I want these to be on the top of the list because that's good stuff. But that's what I want, and hopefully it's what the world wants out there, but one never knows. So skills and usefulness. So this is how teachers rate the usefulness of various technologies. They rate them from none to very high. This faculty here, over 87%. Between high and very high, they believe the word processor is useful. But if you look at Web 2.0 type resources, really it's just kind of a flat line across the way. So good data there for you. This also goes into how useful we think the technology is in your teaching area. Very high to none. Remember, we can click on any one of these panels and it'll bring you up to a list of respondents to help you put your team together. Moving on, quadrant description. So this is skill versus usefulness plotted on a horizontal and vertical axis. And that's really interesting stuff. The graphic pretty much speaks for itself there, but I want to take you to here where the numbers are. So word processors, so it's a high skill and high use at this school. But if we look down, I'm going back to the same couple, Web 2.0, we're in that same quadrant as well. So high skill and high use. I'd be worried if there was a low skill and a high use. We want to definitely address that in quadrant 1. Moving on to this is the same data, but you can just click on it here and it gives you a visual representation. Sometimes people like to see these data and where the folks fit on that continuum when plotting usefulness versus skill. The next part is sections 1 through 4 review, sections 1 through 5 review, and that's that. So hopefully, at least I walked you through the navigation part. If you guys have any questions with the statistical analysis involved with any of these or need assistance in writing your DCP, I strongly urge you to speak with your technology integrator who will help you walk through this data. Give us a call and we'll be happy to help. Thank you so much for listening, and good luck in the writing of your DCP.